Hello, this is Angela Anderson. Thanks for joining me for this acrylic painting tutorial. In this video, I'm going to be painting a mountain scene with a little pine tree in the front. I'm going to try to keep this simplified so it'll be a little bit easier for beginners and show you step by step how to do it from start to finish. I've got my husband Mark with me.
Hey there, everybody.
He's man in chat during live show, so if you have questions, you can ask those and I'll try to answer them. Let's get started. Alrighty, I'm going to be using a 9 by 12 inch canvas panel today. You could use really any size that you want. This one's the Belgian Linen Pro Series canvases. I really like them. So they've got a hardcore board so they don't warp, and they're archival quality, so very nice. And then kind of a smoother nap to them also. Our brushes that we're going to be using, I'm probably going to use this large one for the background. A larger brush will just kind of give us a little bit smoother sky, and then we might use this one for to block in some of our areas. So this one's a number 2 Aspen. These are Princeton brushes, number 12 Bright from the 6100 series, and then I grabbed my the Aspen set that I've been using, the number 4 Bright, 8 flat, 2 round, and 6 Filbert, possibly to do some of the body of the mountains and trees and things. And then I grabbed my fan brushes for my pine trees. This is a 10-aught and a number 4 Bristle fans. Losing my voice today, sorry. And then I've got a Velvet Touch 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch blender. So they're just the little round blenders called lunar blenders in the blue handled brushes. And then you're going to want maybe a palette knife. I'm debating, I think I'm going to try to do a little bit of the rock face with the palette knife. You just need to get a small enough one that you can kind of fit into these tight areas. So it's got to have a kind of a really small head. And I'm using, I don't know which one that is. Just look for a small head, that's all. It doesn't have a brand name on it, or it's worn off, so I don't know which one that is exactly. And then you're going to want a watercolor pencil or something to sketch onto your canvas, or you can draw this on paper and then transfer it on with transfer paper, whatever you want to do. All right, let's go over our colors. Carbon black, burnt umber, burnt sienna, quinacridone, burnt orange, yellow oxide, cadmium yellow medium, quinacridone magenta, dioxazine purple. This is Prussian blue. That's a new one that wasn't on our list, but I'll show you how to mix it in case you don't have it. Ultramarine blue, Phthalo blue green shade, Cobalt teal, and Phthalo green yellow shade. Unbleached titanium, titanium white, and zinc white. Zinc white's going to be important for our clouds mostly. It's just a transparent white. And then this is our glass glazing medium, and I'd probably need more of it. Glass glazing liquid. And it's got a slow drying extender in there, so it makes it a little bit easier to blend and gives us some drying time. And then I've got my spray bottle. I'm going to spray down my paints there, keep them wet while I'm working. All right. And I'm going to wipe off the extra. You don't want puddles on there. Okay, so I drew out this kind of very lightly on my canvas. But basically, you're going to be going from this top to really close to the bottom here. In fact, I could probably go even more drastic than I did here. Do a diagonal line, this mountain side to kind of a little wavy. Here it goes up, down, back up. This is a mountain in Canada, in the Banff National Park, Lake Mora, something. I don't.
It is Moraine Lake Hills.
Moraine Lake Hills.
So only in Canada would something this big be called a hill. In Arkansas, if it's a bump in the ground, it's a mountain.
It's a mountain. It's so true. It's so true. We moved to, we were living on Crow Mountain for a while, and it was literally like, I don't know how many feet up. 100 feet up, maybe. I don't know.
It may be a couple 100 feet.
At the most. It was not very big. You're like, really? That's so funny. All right. So another little one here. So there's a couple little bumps here and here, and then this kind of comes out diagonal this way. And then you've got pine tree. And this is just going to be kind of a plane that cuts in front of this. All of this pine trees are just kind of layers of trees. So it's really actually pretty fun. We won't be putting in every single tree, obviously, because that would take us forever. So what we're going to do is kind of break this up into planes of color and kind of try to map out where we see the color shifts and paint those. And then we'll kind of indicate a few little trees maybe in some of those, but we're not going to try to paint all of these little areas here. So we've got some kind of rolling hills coming off of our mountain right here. This is where the actual mountain starts. So there's a little rounded area here, kind of a bumpy outcropping right there. It comes up and around. And then it cuts in front right here. And kind of does this zigzaggy line up here. And I'll make this one a little bit higher. This is not going to be perfect because I didn't draw it ahead of time, so.
Seriously?
I know.
I took a shower and everything and it's not going to be perfect?
Well,
I mean, I brushed my teeth
I'm going
too.
to get it as close as I can, but.
All right. So hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. Glad you're with us today.
Down here.
Hope everybody's staying safe and healthy.
Yes. Yes. This is only like day 1, day 2 of Mark's isolation, and he's already wanting to go to Lowe's to pick up peat for the garden. I was like, no, that is not essential. You did what?
Where did you think that ant bait came from?
Mark Anderson, you gotta stay home. Stop it.
We needed something to feed the vegetables with.
Okay, no.
Now we can live on lettuce and carrots.
Okay.
And maybe someday tomatoes.
Well, if you got the virus and brought it home, I'd be really mad at you.
I didn't pick up any virus.
You didn't pick up any viruses while you were out?
It wasn't in my shopping cart.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I don't think. I'll stay home. Except I'll have to go out and get dinner tonight.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to just kind of map out just some of these color changes. So there's like a big area here where the color is the light's shining on these rock faces here and over here. And some in here. Just kind of drawing in the places where that color change happens. This one is pretty much this whole mountain. Side face is all pretty bright right in through here. When we do the mountain, we're going to be kind of focusing on having kind of a warm color for our highlight side that's facing the sun, and then a cooler color for our shadow side of the mountain. So that'll be kind of fun to look forward to. Show you how to do that. Okay, so then right up here, right up next to the mountain, there's that set of trees where it starts right here, and then it's going to diagonal down and cut in front of all of this just a little bit and create these little hills that we were talking about of the trees. And then right here, there's a line that connects up with this one. So it goes right from almost to the top of this one. And this is right about on the third. So if you're measuring, I can even bring this one up a little bit, I think. Right about on the third there, you're going to want to start in that little bit right there. Then you kind of know you got it in the right spot. And then this one's actually kind of below the third, just a little bit. Here's our third right here. So this top of this mountain is right about the third. I'm going to bring it down just a little bit. And then the bottom here is below it. Right about like that. Okay, and then there's some trees that are going to be coming up here. I'm cutting off kind of through right here. This will be kind of our foreground trees. And they do kind of a diagonal, kind of a diagonal a little bit. And then this is our main foreground tree, or kind of mid-ground trees, I guess I should say, right here. Okay, I'm going to call that good enough, and let's get painting. I can get that in there. All right. So I'm going to get a little bit of water on my brush here. I'm going to start out with the largest brush. I thought about painting the background all in with a color. If you want to do that, you can. I probably would have done like a light blue, like this color, all the way across, if you decide to do it. So here's a Phthalo blue. So I think that's what I want to use for the sky. That's why or not Phthalo blue, Prussian blue. That's why I grabbed the Prussian blue at the last minute, because I realized how much I'm seeing it in the sky and everywhere else. So you can see what a pretty kind of gray blue it is. It's already kind of a smoky gray color. If you want to try to mix that color yourself, you can use Ultramarine Blue, a little bit of Phthalo blue, and some black. It also has some Dioxazine Purple in it. Mostly Ultramarine Blue. I added way too much black there. So somewhere right in there. And then if we add our white to it, we'll be able to see if we got it close. So we're going to need more of the, yeah, see, I added too much black. Maybe a little bit of the Phthalo blue. There we go. That's going to get it closer to it. So you can see it's a very similar color there. I got to mix them together there. Oh, it just saves us some time having the Prussian blue already pre-mixed. It is a mixed color, so it's not like a pure pigment that you're that you can't mix. All right, so I'm going to do that. Let me spray my canvas once. It's just going to make it a little bit easier to blend. And I'm going to get lots of glazing medium, and I'm going to start up here at the top where I want it darkest. I don't want it super see-through, so I may have to do 2 coats on this to get it to show up. Oh, I just covered all over that mountain there. I don't want to do that. This brush is too big for this area. It's just too much of a tiny area here. It would work well if we were covering the whole canvas with this, but in this tight area, it's kind of a little bit overkill. We'll make it work. So grab some white, and I'm just going to go along that bottom edge with the white, blend that in, wipe my brush off. That will kind of make it act like a sponge. It'll lift off some of the color that we don't want in there. Grab some more of that white. Use it down here. Now, of course, we're going to be adding pink and yellow down here, but for now, we don't want to do that because we don't want it to blend with our blue. So we're just going to do the white all kind of this whole bottom half here. And then blend up. See how nicely that bigger brushes make it easy to blend these nice smooth gradations of color. Gradations. All right, and then I want this white right up next to the mountainside, so I'm going to come up here and come right up next to this mountain with my white. And just pull it out just a little bit.
Okay, I think you mentioned this earlier, but I want to double check.
It's just way too big for this. You could use a smaller one. What?
Somebody wanted to know, could they add a color to, would Angela recommend toning the canvas with any particular color?
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You could use the blue, this blue, and do the whole canvas with this color. I think it would look nice under the greens. So that's probably what I would do if I didn't have to worry about the drawing. I probably could have just done the whole thing with the blue. I'm going to just go ahead and do that. Across like that. Okay. So that's kind of, I just want a little bit of the lighter blue right around the edge of the mountain there. And then the darkest blue up here. Get some of that darker phthalo blue here. We'll just let that set for a minute. While that's drying, we'll go ahead and put in our bases of the trees here. So we're going to want to go with a fairly dark color at first. So I'm going to go ahead and use that phthalo green and phthalo blue. I'm going to add some of that Prussian blue color to darken it up even more. Create a darker teal. And maybe a little bit of burnt umber. Okay, so this will be a good color for kind of our mid-level trees. I'm just going to them on in kind of a vertical motion here. I'm not going to worry about the shapes of any of the individual trees right now. We're just trying to get some color on underneath them. Okay, let's go ahead and add some blue as we go up closer to the top. And these ones actually are going to have a little bit of yellow in them, but I'm going to go ahead and start with this blue. Just this little area right here is going to be kind of lit up by the sunshine. And you can notice that this down here, when I touched this paint down here, it kind of started to lift a little bit. So you just have to watch for that. Make sure, that's why I'm letting this dry completely before I try to put that yellow on, because I didn't think it would dry in time for me to be able to mess with it. So now as we go farther up, I'm going to add more Prussian blue, and I'm going to add even a little bit of purple and get some white. Use that with my green. So these will be kind of a smoky purple gray. And again, I'm going darker than it's going to end up because we'll add the lighter color on top. We need a little bit of contrast with our dark shadow colors. So grabbing a little bit more of that Prussian blue right here. These farthest mountains are quite light. And we'll have to go over them again, so you just kind of have to know that going in, that once we put our yellows in, it's going to cover over some of this, so that's okay. I'm putting it on in the direction that I'm seeing the color changes to, so, or you know, the way that the trees are kind of growing, so following that curve of the mountain coming down here. These trees here were kind of more vertical looking, so I wasn't worried. But back in here, really the only thing you're seeing is the hill, you know, the rolling of the hill there. So I don't know what I'm trying to say. So anyhow, I started to say you don't want to mess with the color while it's trying to dry because it will lift off your canvas here. So that's why I'm kind of leaving this alone down here. Get some phthalo blue here. And mix it with that green, and then I'm going to make this mountain right here, just that little bit that's sticking out right there with that phthalo blue. Let's go ahead and just go along this ridge line here, right up against that mountain, and blend that all in. Okay, so I haven't gone on my mountain yet. I'm just kind of gone in front of it. But got some good color there. I'm going to use this, that Prussian blue and some green here, and do some more, even darker. If this is dry enough for me, we'll see. Even darker in here. There we go. Okay. You need it dark enough so that you can put those highlighted trees on there, really make them pop forward. Okay. This is still drying. I may have you take it, hon. I don't want to do these mountains until I do the sky, so can you dry it for me?
I'll run around outside with it.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
All right, while he's doing that, I'm going to clean off my palette. I've got a large area of mess here that I've created that's going to dry pretty quickly. I might be able to salvage some of this little blue right here, but all of this green and stuff's got to go. And if you're using a hairdryer, like Mark is, to help me out there, just make sure that you have it on a lower temp setting, so don't have it on the super high setting, hot, you know, and also keep it about 6 to 8 inches away from the paints and move it side to side the whole time you're doing it, so constant movement. And don't just kind of have it set. If you've got like one little area that's not drying, don't like just set that hair dryer, you know, real close to it, because it can warp your paint. It'll bubble it. It basically, you know, acrylic paints have a kind of a plastic. They're basically, you know, acrylic. They're acrylic. So if you think about acrylic being a plastic, and what happens with plastics when you get heat on them, so you just want to make sure you don't burn that paint. That would not be good. And then if you'll hit it with kind of a little bit of a cool it down, also it'll help keep your paints from drying out super quick. Well, also, so, all right, I'm going to clean out my brushes here. Hope you guys are doing well and staying safe and all that good things and aren't running out to Lowe's for no reason, like Mark is. I'm going to get on to him for that. We did need ant baits, though. We've got, this time of year, man, those little black ants get in the house. They drive me bananas. We don't know where they're coming from. We just did a house renovation, so we know like all of the trim all the way around the windows are all sealed up really good. They must be coming in through the window or somewhere. I don't know, but they are the bane of our existence here in the South. They just get into everything. All right. Yay, thank you. Awesome. Thanks, hon. All right, so I'm going to use this medium brush here for the rest of this because that one was kind of a little bit too big. Although it does do a really beautiful job of that. It makes it a lot easier. But again, it was just a little bit hard to fit into these areas here. So I'm going to do one more layer of white right up next to the mountains here now that I've got that color down. Don't go too far down. You want to blend that out before it dries. So I'm going to wipe that off and just kind of pull that across. And then I'm going to get some of that Prussian blue with the white. Blend that in. Blend it over kind of the back in towards the white there.
This keyboard's so clicky.
It is clicky. I can hear it.
Yep.
Very noisy. It's all right.
That's why I usually try to use the iPad.
I'll use this keyboard here. It's not, I don't think it's as clicky.
That's all right.
Oh, you're talking on your laptop, huh?
Well, yeah, on the home laptop. I did it because sometimes people want to know stuff and it's easier to copy paste it in than
Right.
look it up. So
Yeah. So you have it all.
yeah,
Sit there,
I need
ready
to
to
put
go.
it on my iPad so I can copy paste it in.
Uh-huh.
But I was too busy destroying tanks earlier. Doing some important
Saving
stuff.
the world.
Exactly. So there's lots of people
Really?
saying happy birthday.
Aw, thank you. Thank you, thank you. It's kind of a weird birthday this year. Very odd.
Yep.
Not exactly how we planned on celebrating it, but that's okay. We're all healthy and everybody's okay. That's the main thing.
We'll do it upright later on when everything's back to normal.
Hopefully, yeah. All right, so just kind of, as long as you can leave streaks here, it doesn't have to be perfectly smooth. As long as you're kind of doing it in that side to side direction, it will look like clouds, you know. So the sky has those kind of, you know, variations of clouds happening anyways. I'm just going to go ahead and go right over these mountains and not worry about them. And that way I can focus on getting the sky just right. Okay, so putting down some white there, and then I'm going to grab some yellow oxide. I want to make sure my brush is clean of that blue, though. I don't want it to turn green. I'm going to get a different water jar. This one doesn't do a very good job. The plastic's too flimsy and it just kind of pushes around. It doesn't like pull that paint off of my brush like I want it to. Okay, so yellow and a little bit of cad yellow, and then I'm going to use just the teeny tiniest little bit of the Quinacridone Magenta there to kind of turn it orange. Maybe a little bit more than that. Ooh, that's pretty. Maybe too much. Okay. There we go. That's the orange we want. Beautiful. Oh yeah, pretty. Okay. So we're just going to start it down here. And again, don't worry about your mountains. We'll fix those later. I'm going to go side to side. So I put the darkest color where I want it the brightest, down here low. The more concentrated color down low. And then I'm going to get a little bit more yellow and really kind of beef it up because I want it a little bit brighter. There we go. And then as I go up, I'm not adding any more color to it. I'm just letting what's on my brush kind of skim and go off on the canvas there. And that paint was wet above us, so it's kind of blending in a little bit. I'm going to grab some white and I'm going to go side to side with the white. And I can feel it getting kind of sticky, so I have to be careful because you don't want to do too much while your paint's sticky. Because then I could start lifting off some color, which we do not want to happen. Okay, so I want to go about halfway up the sky or so and kind of stop right in here somewhere with that color. And then I'm just going to get some glazing medium here. And just lightly blend that out if I can. See if I can blend through that. Again, make sure that your paint's dry before you try to blend it, or not dry, it's still wet. Don't try to blend over the paint that's drying. If it gets super sticky, it's just not going to be cooperative. All right, I think that's going to be our main colors for our sky there. I'm not going to do a whole lot of fancy colors in here. I might glaze a little bit of that pink in there down low, and we'll put in our clouds later. But let's go ahead and start working on our mountain here. I think we can get going on it, and I totally lost my whole drawing here, so I would probably suggest drawing it on paper and then doing the whole sky, just a solid all the way across. It'll make it a lot easier. Maybe doing white, at a diagonal, so you've got some of the white coming off of the side there where we want it, but and then we can transfer on your drawing. All right. So the mountain itself, I'm going to do Quinacridone Magenta. I grabbed a little bit of the Quinacridone Burnt Orange because it's slightly orangey. And then some yellow oxide, and that'll be kind of our pink that we use on the highlight side. Maybe a little bit more purple in there. Let's grab some purple. I'm kind of spreading that out. I want to keep my mix a little bit more concentrated in one area. there. And you can see how I'm kind of just mixing a small area at first. I'm not going to mix a lot of color until I kind of know what the ratio is that I want to use. So right now I'm just kind of playing with it, trying to get it close to what I think I want to do. So let's add a little bit of blue. Okay, that's closer to what it is. So it's more like a purple, it looks like. That'll be our kind of base tone for our mountain. I want to use some of that Prussian blue too for some of the dark areas to shadow. So I'm going to start there, and I'm going to start laying in and I'm going to just use this brush to sort of draw in my mountain. This is the number 2 round in the Aspen. It's a little bit thicker brush, a little bit more textured bristles. Okay. Pretty good.
Somebody asked if they could use a dry mop brush to blend in the sky.
Yes. Yeah. Yep, that's a good way of doing it. You just have to have both of your colors wet. So with mop brush works best if you have both colors wet. Don't try to do it over when you're doing a wet color here into dry. It won't work. It'll basically lift off the moisture out of your paint, out of your paintbrush. All right, I'm going to use this kind of lighter pink color on this area here on the highlight side. I don't know why I'm starting on the lower mountain, but that's okay. Yeah, most of this is going to be, and you can hear her just scribbling that, just really scrubbing that paint into the canvas, making sure I'm getting it down into the cracks and crevices and everything. There we go. And I'm going darker than I want it to end up. So we're going a little bit darker than our final product's going to end up. Because these have quite a bit of light hitting them, so they're not super dark. And they're far enough away that the sky is kind of influencing the color too, so we're getting a little bit of that, Prussian blue and white, and we can add it to the mountain that's closest to the sky back here, right along that edge of the sky. Getting some of that darker purpley. Purpley should be one of my colors in my... Mark's always teasing me because I make up words for my made-up paint sets, made-up paint colors. Purpley.
I like that one.
Purpley blue. All right.
I think my favorite one was the unburnt blue that you had, or something like that.
That was a mistake color, though. That was, that was a misnomer. I can't use that.
Unburnt blue?
Yeah. Okay. get some of that pink that's starting to show up over here. Get about the right spot.
Now is a quiet time of the show. Everybody just close your eyes and take a deep breath. While Angela drifts off
Breathe in 4 times slowly.
to our brain. Hey, it is not easy. I tried to do it once or twice. To paint and to talk the whole time is just like weird. It's not very natural.
No.
I'm not saying you're weird or unnatural.
What I do is just weird. Oops. Hopefully that wasn't loud.
No, it wasn't.
Okay. Yeah, for everybody who complains that I don't explain things enough, I defy you to try to paint and explain things. You go try to paint and explain this to your family and then come back and complain about me teaching it.
I mean,
Then we'll talk.
Yeah. I couldn't even explain. I couldn't do my job and try to talk about it while I was doing it. That's just not right.
Mm-hmm. It's a special part of your brain. I don't know. Gotten better at it over the years, but it's still, especially when I really get into a painting and start really thinking about, or if it's super difficult or, I'm really having to concentrate, that's when it's really hard. Because I'm really deep in that right brain mode and I just can't get the words out. Sometimes I just can't even think of the words that I want to say. Like they're just not there. I'll say a weird combination of like almost the visual interpretation of the word arm sleeves or armholes, like instead of sleeves, like it's like my brain is trying to interpret what I'm seeing and put it into words, but I can't come up with the actual name for it, So going back through here with a little bit of the darker purple, I know Mark loved that one. That was one of his favorites. That I said. Armholes.
That was good.
Yeah. I do my best. And I have to say, if you're trying to paint along with me and the painting does not say easy at the very beginning and you are a first-time painter, I do not explain as much in these more advanced paintings. So I don't explain kind of how I'm holding my brush or, that kind of thing, because I assume that you already sort of know if you're tackling a painting like this, This one, I think, is going to be a little bit on the easier side, but if I'm not putting easy in the title, then it's not a beginner painting. It's more of an intermediate painting, sometimes advanced. You can kind of tell by the length of time that it takes me to paint a painting. So if it's a 3 or 4 hour painting, then that's advanced. If it's a 2 hour painting, then it's going to be kind of intermediate. If it's closer to 1 hour, it's going to be a beginner painting. So that also will help you kind of know. So just going in, I always hate it when I have somebody, say I tried this and I couldn't do it. You didn't explain it good enough for me to follow along. And I'm like, well, it obviously was a little bit beyond your skill set. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying, that's what happens when you tackle a painting that is just a little bit beyond where you're at. And that's fine. I mean, that happens and it's okay to challenge yourself. I'm not saying don't challenge yourself. I'm just saying kind of allow yourself to be a beginner. Do some of the easier paintings first let yourself kind of get a few under your belt so you kind of know what's going on and you kind of know how to mix some colors and that kind of thing. And then that way you won't have such a hard time of it when you try to tackle some of these longer and harder paintings.
Exactly. Learn to drive first.
Unbleached titanium here.
Learn to drive first before you enter the Indy 500.
Right.
Maybe we get some NASCAR fans in here. I don't know.
I'm liking this brush for this. I don't know that I'm going to use the palette knife because it's getting, it's just textured enough that it's kind of getting little bits of, I don't know, it's doing a good job. So, okay, I'm adding the unbleached titanium to these colors now for this warm side. The unbleached titanium has kind of a yellowish cast to it, so it's going to have a good, it'll be a good warm white to lighten up. Instead of using the cool white, which is just plain white, is more of a cool, almost blue tone. This unbleached titanium has much more yellow in it. And if you don't have unbleached titanium, it's called Titan Buff in Golden and other brands. I think unbleached titanium is only Liquitex name for it. But you can mix it. You can add a little bit of just a teeny tiny bit of burnt sienna and yellow oxide to some white, and you'll get a color that's close. So, all right. And I'm just letting this brush kind of skim and create these little jaggedy lines that have little holes in them. So very lightly touching. Got a fairly good amount of paint globbed up on my brush, but then I'm barely touching it down on my canvas. So if I have enough paint on here, I don't have to press hard for it to come off. And that's kind of what we want. And we just want it to catch on the texture of the canvas. And if you have a really textured canvas, that'll actually work a little bit easier. You'll get really good little sections of paint kind of grabbing onto or grabbing the canvas, grabbing onto the paint. Oh, Cashmere's trying to get in. She's knocking at the door.
Say what?
You started without me.
Did you start?
Did you? Are you in there? I can hear you. You're in there. You're in there without me. Okay. Let that set for a minute and we'll go on continue working on this little bit right here. I'm going to get some of this pink color here, a little bit of that blue, and I'm going to spray that so it doesn't dry out on me. And okay, so this is that coming up. It does this. Gonna have to let her in. She's not gonna let go of it. She's not going to give up. Oh, did you? Yeah, she hears you. It's our cat. You left me. Cashmere, what are you doing? She's telling you all about it. She's not happy with you leaving her out there, Daddy. Did she jump in your chair? No, she wants to. There she comes. Okay. Hey, Cashmere.
At least I made it to the chair before she did.
Yeah, there have been times that Mark has to share the chair. She's our little studio mascot. Our only pet left in the house. Our poor pets have been dying the last 2 years. All of our pets have. It's really sad, actually. I lost my dog and our other cat. Oh, Cashmere, you gonna come over here? I'm using some of this blue. She's got to mark up everything now. She's rubbing on all the studio equipment. None of this is going to work properly unless it's got my smell on it. So I'm just going to come through and rub my face all over everything. She's rubbing all over Mark's microphone right now. Right and in his way, like literally cat right here in front of where he's trying to work. Jeez.
I can't type.
Can't type. Oh, is that you can't? Oh, that's too bad. So weird.
I apologize for anything that comes through in chat right now. I got a cat on my keyboard.
She may be typing some inappropriate things. Who knows? Oh, okay. I brought that out a little too far there. Let's bring this out. Okay. All right, and then I want to I'm going to grab some green, and I'm just going to mix it with this mountain color, and I'm going to use it right in here to just kind of do this transition between the mountains. It's kind of subtle. It goes to green, but and I'm going to use some of that phthalo blue too. Or not phthalo blue, Prussian blue too. There we go. It's kind of this very soft green. That's pretty. So it should almost kind of flow straight from that mountain down here. Okay, and then there's this area back here. I'm going to get a little bit of the purple, a little bit of that Prussian blue, and some white. I've got all these other colors on my brush, so just want to go a little bit darker. And then we're going to do this area down here, and I kind of lost completely my mountain that was back here, so I'm just going to kind of start it up here. It's going to go all the way down to right about here.
Is that the number 2 Aspen round?
Yes.
Okay.
Here we go. And I've got some ridges in my paint there. Can you see them? Some raised areas. So I'm just going to go through here, and now if you want to leave those you can, but if you're going to be adding more layers on top, you don't want those in there because it'll make it hard to layer. So there we go. Just smoothing those out. Very pretty. Okay, and then I'm going to get that kind of greenish color and go back over right here where it's going over the top just a little bit right there. And our Unbleached Titanium. To add this pink to it just a little bit to tone it just slightly. And I'm going to see it all the way across right here. It's going to have this whole section of mountain there that's lit up. There, I'm going to do it brighter than that, but we'll just, this is the first layer, so we'll just add a little bit to start. the blue for this side. So this side's warm. This side we're going to add the blue tone, the purple, kind of this color here, and add our details onto this side of the mountain where we're seeing a little bit of light and some detail happening back here. But since it's in our shadow area, it's going to be that blue cast. And there's little bits of snow that's peeking out on some of these too. What is she trying to do?
She's trying to lay down on my arm.
Trying to figure out how to lay down on your arm while you're typing?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she does that to me while I'm on my tablet. Okay. Looking good. I like how this brush is working. It's got a little bit more painterly, so it's just up to you whether you want it a little bit smoother or not. Oh, you're coming over here, huh? Okay. Hi. You want to see this brush? Yes. Okay, good. She's got a row on it. Okay. Hi. Hi, Cashmere. You gonna help me? Yep. You helping?
Okay, so now she's up the ante. Try painting, talking, and brushing a cat at the same time.
Okay. Multitasking at its finest.
I can tell you're a mom.
Yeah. That was, we were watching that, what's it called? 100 Humans or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
On Netflix last night. And it was funny. It was like the battle of the sexes. And one of the challenges was to play whack-a-mole, stir a bowl of batter and hold a baby, and then answer questions at the same time. And the women like killed it. Like they destroyed the men on the
Of course.
yeah. She's just purring. Mm-hmm. I don't know if anybody can see what I'm painting. It's the problem. Okay, Cashy, I'm gonna have to.
Not really.
I'm getting cat hair all over everything. Oh no, she's just has her happy face on right now. She's so happy. So I made the Prussian blue, that sky color actually. And gonna use it down here to add. I love this brush. This has been really good. It's working really well. Yeah, she's just so happy. So happy. I know you're so happy, but you need to go find Daddy. Go find Daddy. She's like, no, but I'm getting petted right now.
Want a straw?
Oh, yes, I want the straw. Cat hair everywhere. She's the sheddingest cat, I swear. We call her a superpower cat, like super shredder. Super shedder. She, like, if you pick her up, she doesn't want to be picked up. She just, like, deploys the fur. And just, like, fur everywhere. All right. This is, like, the worst nightmare for people who are allergic to cats. Who are just, like, watching this choking. Sorry.
Sorry, Mona.
Yeah.
Are you sick?
No.
Okay.
No, but every time I cough, I think I am. Like, I'm worried. I was doing it to myself. This is allergy season, so this is like the worst time because I always feel kind of punky this time of year anyways. You know, my allergies start acting up and I get real froggy throats and, you know, kind of yucky feeling. And so I'm like having to convince myself I'm not sick. I'm not. I don't have a fever. It's just, my brain. It's like when you hear about somebody who has lice and then your head starts itching. It's kind of like that. All right. I am going to get some purple. I'm going to use this darker color. I've got the darker color here, but I need to add some right on this front side here. I'm going to come up in between here. And I'm literally just kind of dabbing and kind of pulling down to create these little lines. And I was planning on doing it with this brush. So if you don't have this brush, you could use your these brushes work really well. The blenders work really well for this because they have that textured quality too. So it's just whatever brush you've got. You could use a Hog's bristle brush too. Those are actually really cheap if you've got one of those hog hair brush. It's those white bristled brushes that you see in a pack for $1 or something. The only thing with those is that they get soggy if you put them in water, so just be careful of that. And also they can lose hairs pretty easily, so you just want to make sure you're not shedding hairs all over your painting. Anytime you're working with acrylics, it's better to use synthetic bristles. The acrylics are very hard on brushes. So I want to just be sure that I have some dark areas. Always my dark areas are going to be on the opposite side of these bright areas. So just making sure that I've got this shadow behind all of these little areas that I've got the light hitting.
We got an important question.
Yeah.
What color nail polish are you wearing?
Ooh, I don't know.
You know you're going to get this question.
I forget.
Every time.
I forgot to look it up. It's in my thing over here. Oh.
No, it's fine. You don't have to stop. And we start.
Let's see. It's Primrose Street. Whoops, that's it. Right there. Nails Incorporated. Call me Nails Incorporated. There's there. I've got all the rainbow colors. They're really pretty. That's only one of my nail polish things. I got another bigger one that's full of a different brand. It's a problem. I don't paint my nails all that often either. It's kind of like if I had the excuse of like doing it every day, but I don't. I just like to have the options of colors. I may use one color like 3 times, before it dries out. It's a problem. It's a good vice to have, though. If you're gonna have a vice, you gotta.
True.
Nail polish hoarder is not a bad one. All right, I'm gonna add my Quinacridone Magenta to that Unbleached Titanium. I'm gonna add a little bit of white too because I want it a little bit brighter. I'm gonna start with the white and add the pink to it. There we go. So we've already got our first layer of that down, and now I'm going to go in and really brighten up some of these.
So we talked about it earlier, drawing this out.
Yeah.
Let's do this one. That's the Patreon logo.
Oh, yeah.
For traceables.
Yes.
I already got a shot of the spray bottle when I hit side camera by accident.
Oh, that's fine.
But patreon.com/art. Traceables. And then
Bonus videos.
bonus videos, Facebook groups,
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, if you are interested in digging a little deeper, we've got some paid content that kind of goes, we do even really in-depth paintings, and the Facebook group gets to pick the paintings that we do every month, and so they get a little bit more kind of say so, and they also get critiques, and they get their own weekly video that's just for them.
Where's the oranges?
Yeah. What?
Where's the oranges?
Oh, I'll show. No, not oranges. They're apricots.
Apricots?
Get
Oh,
it
sorry.
right. No, somebody emailed me and because I was calling them peaches. They're like, you do realize those are apricots, don't you? I was like, well, obviously that's why I called them peaches in my title.
Keeping it real.
Yeah. So we're one more week, and we're gonna just finish those. We finished the plate. It's been 5 weeks, so this will be our 6th week to finish it. So it's been about an hour and a half to 2 hours for each session that we do on Thursdays, and just work on it slowly till we're done. Mm-hmm. So I really like getting to do these kind of more in-depth things that we spent 3 weeks on the flat fabric, just about. So it was pretty complicated, but last week we glazed it. It was kind of black and white. We started and we did glazing on it to add these yellow and blue tones to really brighten it up. It added a lot. So definitely like getting to work with that group. It's a lot of fun. I get to work on those kind of harder projects that take longer, and I can take my time on them. I don't have to be rushed to finish in one setting like I do, with these YouTube videos.
It'll be interesting this Thursday.
Why?
Because you'll be doing your video thing and I'll be over here working.
Yeah, that's true. Well, then you can... Oh, yeah, you'll be over there working, won't you? You better not schedule any meetings during my video.
Well, I'll probably have to go out in the living room or kitchen then.
Yeah. Okay, gonna get some white and add my Prussian blue and just get... It's not all the way white, so I want to add little bits of white in there for where the snow is packed in there. But again, it's not pure white, it's just got a little bit of blue in it. That's not snow, but it's kind of almost the same color. All right. Not bad. That's not... I like this brush working with these mountains. It's doing a pretty good job. Okay, gonna get some white, almost pure white here. I want really bright right in here. Definitely more of a painterly mountain look. I like the style though, because this kind of, it looks real from farther back. This kind of style of painting looks better the farther away from the canvas you get. So while you're painting this, what I would suggest is just to kind of take a step back every now and then and kind of look at it from a distance and see if you're getting the lights and darks light enough, right enough. That's the main thing that'll make this work, is getting these really dark areas dark enough and getting these lighter areas light enough so that you're, I'm totally losing my voice, so that you're getting...
we got some tea over here.
I do, I need to drink something. Give me a minute here. Get some of the kind of, there's There's kind of some areas here that have a little bit of transition between that dark and light area. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Oh. Definitely need the lighter. I'm gonna go in here with the Prussian blue, a little bit of purple, and put in my shadows on this mountain here, this little bit down here. These are actually a little bit darker than they need to be. This whole area is pretty muted. It's getting a lot of far enough away that it's kind of a smoky gray blue. It's not super dark. So have a little bit of white in your paint here, even though you're wanting it dark. It's the farther away these mountains are, the less contrast they'll be. So the closer in value that these dark and light areas will be. So you don't have to go super contrasted with it. But you do want it, you know, at least probably 3 shades of a light, medium, and dark shades in there to give it some depth. At least 3 to 4, I would say. There's pretty good contrast between these ones, though. These ones are close enough to us. These ones back here are a little bit less obvious. They're a little bit more muted, I think, so you can kind of maybe go a little bit darker back there. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm just going to paint. Comes the neighborhood truck guy. He wasn't doing, that was a pretty poor showing. He wasn't trying very hard there. He's probably sneaking away to Lowe's like you were. Doesn't want his wife to hear. Like, shh.
You never heard me go out.
No, you're...
Stealth. And now I can stay home.
Okay.
Except get dinner tonight.
Hmm?
Except get dinner tonight.
Okay. Well, you're not having to go in and like interact with people by doing that. You're just picking stuff up. It's different.
Mm. And robots are making the food.
Okay.
Don't tell David I said that.
You're just trying to get out of it because you know I'm mad at you. Deflecting. That's okay. If you don't want dinner tonight, that's okay.
Hey, look over there.
Oh, gosh. All right. So that, I think we're good on our mountain there. Let's go ahead and work on our clouds. So I think I'm going to use this brush for the clouds. This is a 3/8 inch Willows blender. And I'm going to get some water on that brush a little bit. And grab my Zinc White here. And just make sure that your sky is 100% how you want it. I have no idea, but I got paint up there. Gosh darn it. I hate when I do that.
Hey, real quick, somebody had asked when you were just painting the stuff there.
Yeah.
The brush stroke that you were doing, was it like a dabbing, swirling kind of motion? Or I tried to get it on side cam a little bit, so hopefully they caught it.
Oh my gosh, I got hair, like one of my hairs. Can't blame the cat there. This is the cat hair though, over here. Sorry. I'm not exactly sure what like in here when I was doing the.
Yes.
Yeah, I was doing it.
Here, move your other brush.
It's pretty much just this like sort of like a straight up and down motion, and I do like having this blue in here, so I'm gonna put some of this blue in the dark side of the mountain. So pretty much just have enough paint on your brush that it comes off really easily, and you don't have to worry about pressing down too hard, because if you press down too hard, that's when you get a solid color. So by having the paint fairly thick on the brush, and then you can just kind of basically lightly dab it on there and it'll come off where you want it to go. All right, I'm going to get some of this light color here, and I'm going to add it to my green if I can get some green. Try to get these all, they're all drying on me. So try to get a color that's kind of transitionary. Yeah, there we go. And I'm going to use this brush here, and now I'm going to leave that dark area, and I'm going to use this brush on its edge and just create some. Sounds like Spencer's doing dishes.
Mm-hmm.
Good for him. Did you tell him to?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Good job, Bob. He's a good kid.
Yes, he is.
He gets good grades. It's nice to everybody. Doesn't talk back. He's nothing like I was at that age. All right. I got married to you at that age, so I shouldn't say anything. So this is just Zinc White. Here, I'm just going to use it to add just little wispy clouds. It's transparent, so it does a really good job with clouds. You can just barely touch it on the canvas. And again, I've got it fairly loaded thick with paint here, and I'm just barely touching it and kind of doing kind of circular motions like this. And if you want to, you could if you used a mop brush for this, the only thing is you'd want the blue to be wet underneath for it to work. So that's why I would prefer doing clouds this way, because then I can just go over the top of the dried background.
And which brush is that?
This is the 3/8 inch blender.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. So going up here like that. And then I'm going to grab some of these colors that we used in our mountain and mix them in. So this is that purpley blue that we were using over here. I want to use that Prussian blue that is in our sky color. So kind of a purpley Prussian blue. Yeah, that's good. And it really ought to be a little bit darker than the color in the sky back there. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit darker color for it. There we go. Pretty. And then grabbing that more of that Zinc White here. Excuse me. Weird burp. Out of nowhere. Just like, arp.
How come you picked the sunny days to paint on?
I pick every Saturday to paint on, so I have no
okay.
control of whether it's sunny or not.
It's been cloudy and rainy every day this
That's
week,
true.
and then the sun came out today, and
Sorry. I'll try to.
it's okay. You need to schedule
We're
a little
getting
bit
close
better.
to being done here. We're about an hour and a half in. Well, I should say not. We've got a lot of trees to do, but we're getting closer. We're making good progress. And if you want to, you can use a little bit of the glazing medium too to help blend out your edges. This is a weird looking cloud. Here it's kind of an odd shape. So there is some of that color down here. So I'm going to mix some more of that up. I'm going to mix up some of the yellows and Quinacridone Magenta. And then we'll use that with the Zinc White. I'm going to add it to my bottom of my cloud. So mostly just start out with your Zinc White there and then grab just a little bit of this. Don't try to mix it all into that. Then I'm right at the bottom of this cloud. I'm going to add this color. That sunlight's hitting it from below. Same concept as the mountain where the light's hitting it. It's going to be that warmer color, and then it'll be the cooler color where it is in shadow or toward the top there. So let's go ahead and add this color along here. And I'm going to scrub in some clouds down here. Oh, we forgot to put in our mountain that was right here. Let's do that. Let's get this pink, and I'm going to use the purple that we're using in our cloud there. I add a little bit of this reddish color. The sky is really going to change the color. So, here we go. And it should be almost just a little bit darker than what you're seeing in the sky. So, go just a little bit darker, and then it'll dry darker. So, if you can barely see it on the canvas now, it'll be just about right when it dries. And I think I'm going to use this color, add a little bit more of the darker color, and I'm going to use it down here. Whoop. Do kind of a highlight layer on there. Leave the dark area, but kind of just adding a little bit. Oh, I just got that in the sky. Didn't want it up there. If you can make a mistake, you can just wipe it off with some water or spit like I did. If you like me. It's faster.
So much more convenient.
It is. Don't have to wait. So you just want to kind of have that blended down a little bit. And then it kind of blends out into that greenish. I'm going to get the Cobalt Teal because it's already got that pretty turquoisey color. Use that down here. Just a transition between the purple and the green. So we got our far mountains. Let's grab some white. I'm going to add some yellow. Get some titanium white in my yellow. I'm going to use this on kind of the top edge of some of these clouds here.
We got a question.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody wanted to know, can you use white gesso as your everyday white to mix in with your other colors?
I've seen artists do it. I don't like to do that. But yeah, I've seen artists that do that.
So just so you know, yes.
It's technically not a paint. It's a binder. So, but it is a opaque layer. It's just I don't think it's the best choice myself, but that's just my personal opinion. I see artists that use it because it dries a little bit slower. So, but there's a real famous artist on PBS that uses it. So I was fascinated watching him use it, but
You be you.
yeah, exactly. You do you.
There are very few rules about painting.
Yeah. Well, no, there's a lot of rules. You just can break them. There's a lot of people that are going to tell you what to do.
True.
But yeah.
I mean, there's typically only one side of the canvas you should paint on. Outside of that, that's about the only rule there is.
And even that,
You don't have to
I'm
follow.
sure people break that all the time. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell an artist what to do with their art.
Yes, painting at this level should be fun and enjoyable, not
Right.
stressing, and
Yes.
it's not a competition. There's no points. Well, okay, I give out points. But that's just me.
Yeah. Yeah, try it. If you like it, do it.
You start with
I've never tried it, so I may love it. I've not given it a fair shake, so I can't say from experience that it's horrible. I tend to not be particularly like adventurous when it comes to my art materials. Like, tried mixed media, but I didn't enjoy not knowing if it was going to be archival or if it was going to last, or whatever. Because when you're using all these different materials and things, and it's just very unpredictable how they're going to react to one another. I like to know what's going to happen. So I'm a little bit less. I'm more of a rule follower when it comes to to certain things. Okay, using white just to kind of beef up the highlights in here, but then I'm blending it in. That paint's still kind of wet underneath, so I'm just kind of tapping it in and blending it with the colors that I've got going on here. I'm going to get a really bright white highlight there and really white underneath here. Okay. Just using bright white, trying to get some real bright highlights on some of those. I've got some blue in there though, so I need to be careful where I'm using it. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. And blend out just a little bit right here. I'm gonna get my glazing medium and just gonna blend out the edges of where some of these are meeting. Just a clear glazing medium here. Some of my Zinc White. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to use the little bit darker purple here, get a little bit of that blue, and just add just a little bit of a darker color right on the top of those two where they overlap. Okay. Let's get some of the Cobalt Teal and Purple, the Magenta. I'm going to use the Unbleached Titanium with it. And use it down here. There's just a little bit of like kind of ground looking stuff there, and there's a little bit of it right here. I can also use it right. Okay. And using that green, a little bit of the Prussian blue. Green and Prussian blue are going to be kind of our main colors for our tree color. And then I'm going to add this pinkish purple color. Let's see how this does over here. Maybe a little bit too bright for right there. Let's use it in here. Okay. So I'm just going to use it up on its edge and create some tree shapes and keep them very, very small because these are far back trees, so they're not going to be super detailed back here. Let me get a little bit more of this pinky purple color to add. So as it goes farther back here, it's getting more pink.
Pinky purple.
Pinky purple.
And purpley.
Right.
And then we'll have pinky purpley.
Mm-hmm. Gonna add a little bit of phthalo blue to that pink color. And like right in here, there's some a shadowed area of trees that's got that kind of a teal tone to it. Bring it up and through here. Get some of the darker color, mix that with it. So I have some, there we go. Just want it a little bit different from right back in here. So just slightly. And it's really small, so I'm not going to try to do individual trees back here. They're so small, tied together, that you're not seeing the individual trees much. You're just seeing this kind of swath of color coming down. It should be about the same as this. Let's lighten up the bottom of this mountain right here. So it should be kind of that same color-ish where it's kind of coming up right there. Okay. And it should come all the way over here. All of this is going to be kind of a lighter color coming through here. So this comes down a little bit right here. Connects right up to there. Okay. How you doing, hon? Good.
I'm creeping again. Just staring at you.
I noticed.
You're welcome.
It's all right.
I'm
used to it.
I'm privileged because I get to see more than just your hands.
It's debatable. Yellow oxide, a little burnt orange here. I don't think I've used the burnt sienna yet. I might not need it. So made kind of a yellowish green here. This is going to be our highlight green for our trees that are in the sunlight in here. And I'm just going to tap through. Pull down. We've got that darker color underneath there. So I'm just kind of setting my brush down and pulling down a little bit. Leave a little bit of darker color here and there. And it's going to come down kind of here. And right from this kind of down. And this that we just did kind of cuts in front of it. So what I'm going to do is kind of mix these two together, that teal color and that, and I'm going to kind of do a little bit of a transition between these two. Just a little bit. Kind of where that kind of fades into that color. There, I'm going to get a little bit more of the green, teal. I'm going to use my brush on its end now. Kind of do lines. Just add a few little tree shapes. If you just do it a few places, you don't have to do it everywhere. Your brain will pick up on the fact that it's trees. Getting that Prussian blue. want to do some dark. I'm going to mix that green with the Prussian blue, get some nice dark color. There we go. Just put some of those in between here. Keep them really thin and small. And keep them upright. They're all going, even though our slope is sloping, mountain slope's going like that. You don't want your trees to do that. You want your trees to stay straight. The tendency is to do your trees this way. As you're going down the mountain, your trees are going to start to do like that. Keep them vertical. Okay. I am just going to do it this way because I think that this brush is too thick. It was giving me too big of a trees, so I don't want them to look too big back here.
I had a question about paints. Somebody said that they've been using their craft acrylics to do their paintings.
Yeah.
Do you think that the heavier paints make a big difference?
They do. They do for the color quality. They're going to be a better, more vivid colors. Craft acrylics are mostly binder. So you can do some techniques with them that you can't do with heavy body acrylics. Like you can add a bunch of water to them and you won't have any issues with them under binding and things like that like you will with heavy body acrylics. So I'm using the darker right in here. So you just have to keep that in mind when you switch to a better quality acrylic. I would go to Liquitex Basics or something like that. That's a student quality from the craft acrylics. It'll be a little bit easier transition than to the heavy body acrylics because heavy body acrylics are so much less moist. They're so much thicker, you know. So you'll be used to your paint flowing a little easier. So the craft acrylic or the student body acrylics, kind of like they're a little bit softer. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay. So now starting to put in these mid-range trees here. Oh, see, the more I press it down, I'm getting some of that lighter color in there. That's fine. Just press down hard right there and it got some of that lighter color off. Let's get some of that lighter color right in here. There's some right on that. So just make sure you've got some dark area here so that when we put this next layer of light in over the top, you can see the transition between the colors. So things like this here, the dry brushing will be a lot easier with heavy body acrylics. I show in a video, I have a video about the difference between the different acrylics. It's, trying to think, I think it's called painting or blending with different acrylics or something like that. So if you look up just do Angela Anderson, do a search, you know, Angela Anderson blending acrylics and it'll pop up. Yeah. It's definitely helpful, especially if you're doing, you know, making that transition between the different kinds of paint. It'll help explain sort of what you need to do differently with the different kinds of paint. All right, so I'm gonna just kind of mix all this together now. Maybe a little bit more yellow oxide, a little bit more of a yellow green. I've got no green left over here, so I'm just gonna use the Prussian blue with my yellow oxide to create my green. That'll work. And my color difference is pretty subtle right now. So I might add a little bit of my darker, although if you look at the reference photo, most of this in here is pretty washed out. You can see from the reference photo. You're not seeing trees until you get down to this bottom part. So really we can get away with kind of just doing these dabs and dashes and things for these trees in the middle. We don't have to give them a whole lot of detail. It's okay. But I'm going to use this color all the way down here, and I'm just going to add just the tiniest bit of unbleached titanium. There we go. To give it a little bit of highlight, just where that transition happens, and that'll kind of help reinforce that, okay, this is a different part of the mountain, you know.
Somebody has asked if yellow oxide is the same as yellow ochre.
It's very, very similar. It's the manufactured version of it. Yellow ochre is the natural occurring color, but it can be, well, the yellow oxide is just, I like it better. So it's just a personal preference. So you can use them interchangeable though. They've got a little bit of different tone to them, you know. One's a little bit more earthy brown, and this one's a little bit more of a pure yellow-ish. So I think it mixes better. That's what I was going to say earlier. I think it mixes better than the yellow oxide, or the yellow ochre, I mean. Pretty. So definitely want to make sure we're getting that good thing there. I still haven't gotten a good, let me get a little bit of the burnt sienna and my yellow here. Let's see if we can get a better color right here. Just want a little bit of a highlight color coming down here. All right, that's better. We can put a little bit of it down in here, but we need to mix it with some of that kind of pink for when it's down in here, because it kind of turns pink pretty quick down here. Get some of that magenta, yellow, mix that green in. Just got all these colors happening. Okay. Getting more pinks. I want it to be more pink. All right. And then that area there is that teal color. So I'm going to get some more of that teal, cobalt teal, and do that in here. Just trying to lighten up this area back here because I noticed it was a little bit darker than I want it to be. Okay. Cobalt teal. Okay. Nope, none of that's dry. Let me wipe all of this off so I have some room to mix some colors. It's all dry. Getting down to the last little bit here. Okay. Put some phthalo green out. Okay, I'm going to switch to, let me see this Filbert does. I'm going to mix up quite a bit of this Prussian blue and phthalo green. That's going to be our dark color on our trees. Oh yeah, that's going to be nice and dark. Very good. Okay, I don't want to put that out yet, so I'm going to find a spot and just kind of smush that down, twist that brush so that it stays moist while I'm working. Get some yellow, add some yellow to it over here. And I'm just going to start to lay in some trees. They're going to get larger as they get closer to the bottom here. So adding some yellow and white here for a light version, like a more obvious. Oh, that's real obvious. Too much. Backing off a little bit. I want the transition to be gradual back here. So just tapping, using the edge of that brush. And then overlapping so that the bottom edge of those trees is kind of being covered, and if you get too much light color, you can always go back in with the green, with the darker, and kind of put some of the darker back in, and then keep going. You know, so every couple layers, you might want to go in with some dark. We're keeping this very, just like we did the mountains, very kind of painterly, a little bit softer. This this kind of painting is a little bit more accessible for beginners, you know. You don't have to paint every individual tree perfectly. Just trying to get the essence of the trees. It's amazing what your eye will kind of interpret when you see these little lines in a, you know, green lines in a hillside like this. You're like, oh, that's trees. You know, like your eye just automatically doesn't have to be perfectly formed, you know, looking. In fact, it's not going to be realistic looking if it is perfectly formed, because as it goes away, it's getting a little bit more blurry, you know. It's not going to be in focus all perfectly, you know, every little leaf visible. So doing it this way is a nice shortcut. Okay, so as I get down here, I'm kind of plopping my brush down a little bit heavier. Get a little bit bigger trees, lines. And again, making sure that I'm keeping all these trees vertical like this. don't want them to start to tilt this way, and it would be real easy to do that. The tendency is going to be to tilt, because as you go down here, your eye is kind of leading this way. Your brush is going to start to want to tilt into that hill. So don't let it do that. Keep your brush really upright through all of this.
Even if you live in Oklahoma?
These ones are a little bit slanted, but I think that's because it's closer to us, and so we're seeing there's probably a little bit of a warping from the camera lens. But what? Even if you what? I missed that.
Live in Oklahoma. Do you still want to keep the tree straight up and down?
I don't know.
It's just when we drive through Oklahoma to see your brother, they're all blown over from the wind.
The wind. Very true. Very true. Doing kind of a layer of a little bit darker or brighter trees in there. So every now and then just kind of throw in some lighter ones. This brush is doing a good job, I think. And then like on the bottom of these, I'm going to come through here and just kind of obscure them a little bit, darken them up a little bit, and blend them in. I'm always making sure that the bottoms of those trees have some sort of overlapping, and I'm, doing like this. So you've got a layer of trees like this, and then we're gonna, come in. Don't go straight over the top of them exactly, because then they'll look like they're lined up, weird. Just kind of offset them just a little bit. So kind of try to find the in-between as you're doing this, and put some trees on those in-between areas to fill in the gaps and make it look a little bit more natural looking. That's all we're going for. It's a natural overlapping of layers. Okay, liking that. So now, as we're getting down here, I'm really going to start to focus on the tree shapes a little bit more, maybe widen them out just a little bit. So maybe make some of the trees a little bit more pronounced. And kind of tap it back and forth to create kind of some wider trees. It's really just this very bottom section here. So I've added a little bit more yellow. I'm just going to pick a few little trees to you see that, what we're doing there? And then if you get the darker color and put some darker color on the other side of it. So we're kind of creating some trees there.
Somebody asked, could they use a fan brush to do the trees?
You can, yeah. At this point, it's probably gonna start switching over to that myself. And the fan brush for the trees back here would work too, for sure. So you could they work real well to do these vertical trees that we've been doing. I like using a little bit thicker brush just because it gives the bottoms of them a little bit more width. It's the fan brush kind of tends to be a little bit skinnier. there's some stuff happening down in here in the photograph, you know, some, well, it looks like there's a building or something down here, but I'm not going to worry about painting that in. All right, I'm going to get some purple. And some burnt umber. This green. A little bit of black. Like a really dark brown, greenish brown. Use it for some of these in here. I'm just going to lay in the basis for some of these bigger trees in here. Okay, are we seeing the whole canvas there? Go about equal parts Prussian blue and phthalo green there. Nice and dark that color is. That Prussian blue has that black, little bit of black in it, so it's really darkening up that green well. Okay. Add a little bit of yellow just to make it a little bit more of a green. I'm going to pick out a few of these trees here. This may be not quite dark enough. I'm going to have to use a darker color. So kind of tap in a straight line and then turn it on its side and sort of fill in with the middle. So I'm going to do one right here that's kind of tall. Goes almost to the top of that. Tapping in. We're going to add some highlights to these, so it may be harder to tell what's happening right now, but once we add the highlights to it, it'll be a little bit more obvious. Just creating that classic kind of cone shape in our trees there, so making sure that the top is very thin and then it widens out at the base.
Kind of sounds like little critters running around.
Yeah, the tapping. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm going to get some unbleached titanium here. Some of my yellow oxide. Just mix this color in. Using the edge of my brush here to create some highlights. These trees really don't have a whole lot of highlight. There's a little bit of it. So I'd keep it a little bit more subtle. If you're going to highlight them, maybe kind of just a medium color. Medium bright. Not too much.
Sounds like me.
Medium bright.
Yep. Not too much.
Not too much. Okay. Taken in small doses.
What are you insinuating?
You said it, not me.
But not the taken in small doses.
Okay, so you can kind of see we're just trying to kind of create some little layers to our trees here. There's some that are sort of smaller in the front here. Overlapping these trees that are farther away.
I think by giving this video a thumbs up, it'll help you increase your chances to fight against the coronavirus. So I would do it just in case.
Gives you a little bonus immunity.
Exactly. Yep.
I don't think that's true, but...
Well, I mean, it won't hurt. You can try it, see what happens.
You never know. Yeah, but what if they got it after doing that? Then what?
Well, then I was wrong.
Okay. As long as they don't come back to me and...
I mean, I'm not a scientist or a doctor or anything, so...
All right.
There's been no real research or study done on that.
It'll make me feel better.
But then what about if you don't do it and then you do get it?
That's what I said. Oh, if you don't do it. Oh, okay.
Well,
Well, hopefully nobody listening gets it.
amen.
We won't have to worry about it.
Exactly.
Just be smart. Don't go to Lowe's. Stay home. If you can. If you have to work out, be careful.
If you have to work, because there's people like me wanting to go to the store and buy random stuff.
Well, it's good that not everything is shut down to be that much worse. Okay, I'm gonna bring that one up a little bit and add some more yellow to it. Let's make this a little bit bigger. And our big tree is going to go in this whole area, but I'm just wanting to make sure that I have trees around it, so underneath in case, you know, it's not going to be solid, so. Was I off camera? Oh, okay. Alrighty. I'm going to do a little bit darker on this side of this tree. Give it a dark side. It's all about the play between the light and the dark here. Okay. I think it's pretty good. And my trees look like they're leaning there because of the angle of the camera there, but they're not. Okay, so our main tree is going to go right in here. I'm just going to start at the top. I'm going to get a pretty good amount of paint on my brush and wet my brush down just a little bit. I'm going to get most of that light color out of there first. Pick up some of this dark. There we got. Adding a little bit of water to it, it'll just help it kind of flow off the brush just a little bit better. You can add a little glazing medium if you're worried about it sticking. That'll be good. So I'm going to scoop it up fairly thick on my brush. Got a pretty good amount on there. And I'm going to start right in here. I'm going to go right down here. Just going to tap. And let's stem in here and try to get it straight. Okay, and then at the very top, I'm going to scoop and make sure I've got some paint right on that corner there. I'm going to start up going straight up and down like that, and then as we come out, they're going to start flattening out. Just go slow. And if it's not showing up, then get some darker, add black or whatever you need to do to get this dark enough to show up against your background, because you don't want to have to paint this again this way, you know. So you can usually tell by here whether it's going to show up pretty well or not. And see how I'm leaving these really, they're going almost all the way to that stem in here, these little arms sticking out. So leave some space in between. That's what'll kind of give it that pine tree look. And as we go down, we're going to start to slope just slightly. Really, these ones are actually doing this kind of thing like this, especially these ones in front here. They're kind of sweeping up just slightly. But let's just keep on going from the top down. That'll give us, make sure we're getting our shape right. Just very, very gradually widening out each time I do my new branches. Now, they don't always have to go out all that way, though. You know, I've got this one here. I'm going to leave pretty good space here. If you look at our reference photo, we've got some good, you don't have the reference photo up, hon. There's some space between that and this next one out. So you can see how it kind of skips, and then it's really not until about right in here where it comes out to be that distance again. So I'm just going to keep an eye on that, because the tendency is going to be to want to fill in this whole, all these gaps with bristles all the way out, but it'll look a little bit more natural if we skip around a little bit, leave some open areas. And once I'm putting my main, I'm kind of tapping out a main branch, and then I'm kind of tapping on either side of it, kind of like we did with these trees down here, where you're kind of putting in the the main section, and then you're kind of tapping and filling in some of the gaps. So that'll give it little arms. Okay, and then there's going to be some areas where we're going to do highlights. So some of these areas in here are going to be almost solid for now. And then we'll add some highlights to make them a little bit more detailed. Add a little bit of burnt umber and black here. Just give it a little bit darker color going in here. And if you look at pine trees, they do have a lot of like a natural kind of brownish, especially, you know, if the bristles, the needles are starting to drop, they get brown. So there's a lot of browns in the pine trees too. So you can add that a little bit, a little touch of brown. Won't hurt anything. I am liking it so far. Okay, so now I'm gonna start to sweep back up a little bit with some of my, and these are going to come out now, so I want to look at this overall shape here, see and make sure that these last few ones are coming out pretty wide. So I want them to go out to here and here, so you can even mark it if you want to, where, you know, kind of your target is, where you want them to end up going out to. This one's kind of in some. And some of this won't, like I said, won't show up really until we get, I'm going to get some little burnt sienna. There's some burnt sienna areas back in the middle here where it's kind of dying off. And this branch is coming down here. Okay, now we're going to get our highlight. So I want to grab this highlight color here. I'm going to add some more yellow to it. I'm going to do a medium color first. So we're going to do kind of a transition color from that brightest to the darkest. And the transition color will be more than the brightest area. So this will go more places. Highlights are always going to be kind of the least amount of color. I'm going to save them to give them real impact. So just add this to some of our branches. Look and see where some of the overlapping is happening, some of the light, where the light's hitting. Like right in here, there's a good amount of white that's light that's hitting those branches. So you see right here where this dark is coming out, we're going to go put our light color right on top. And then like right here in the middle, we're going to go across right above, right on the tops of our branches. Keep it fairly dark. This is a pretty dark tree, so we're not going to add a huge amount of highlights, like I said, but there is some. Is Nathan here? Oh, he is. Yay. Okay, I can stop. The sun's here. Time to stop. Sorry, guys.
No.
It's over.
No. You must finish.
All right.
I know. Well, it's your own fault.
I know. We're doing good, though. We're almost there. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of water just to make this come off my brush a little bit faster. It's getting sticky. So created this beautiful bright highlight color here. It's still got all that yellow and a little bit of blue in there. So now I'm going to really be careful here and use it very sparingly. Just a couple places. Up in here, just use the very corner of that brush. Tap in. Little needles. Little needles. Okay. There. Then we're going to skip down to right here, and there's some right here that's really starting to show up. There. These ones are going to make it look like it's coming out towards us. All these places that we're putting this highlight. Really just kind of pouncing it. I'm not moving it side to side too much. I'm sweeping it a little bit, just a slight little twist to it as I'm lifting it sometimes, but mainly just tapping. See that? A good amount of it on here. And then right in here where it's sticking out. Oops. That really did a lot. Okay. Get some of that medium color. Kind of go back over where it kind of did too much. If you get too much of the color, you can always go back over it. I'm pretty happy with that. I think I want to do just a little bit more. I'm going to grab a little bit of black, a little bit of brown. Mix that green in. I'm just going to get some really dark shadows on a couple places here. Okay. What do you think? Good? Good enough? What? It's alright.
It's okay.
It's alright. I'm looking for my brush to sign with because it's not going to show up against that dark. I'll use this light green here. A highlight color. And come up about a finger's width. Sign right over here. And I'm using the number 3/0 round to sign. Makes it a little bit easier. You have a super chat? Do it.
Oh, we got super chat, baby.
Yay.
So, yes, we had lots of chatters. I think 5 super chatters.
Wow.
The first one was from Nancy. She says, happy, healthy born day.
Oh, I love that.
Happy to spend it with you.
Yay.
Thank you, Nancy. And then we had from Jan or Jan. I always mess it up. I'm sorry. I've learned so much from Angela and enjoyed listening to both of you. Happy birthday to you.
Oh, thank you.
Music emojis.
Yay. Yeah.
And then we have from Laura. And she says, happy birthday, Angela. Thanks so much for painting for us on, well, it's her birthday tomorrow, but it's on your birthday eve.
Birthday weekend. Yeah, birthday
Thank
week.
you, Mark, for sharing Angela with us today and all you do, too.
Nice.
Thank you so much, Laura. And then from Mama says, for the sunshine you both bring, love this group.
Oh.
Oh, wait, I got another one. Sorry.
Wow.
And then the last one's from Carol. She says, nothing, but
Thank you, Carol.
I must have missed the emoji because it says parrot character dancing under a rain of confetti and taking his hat off to say, you're amazing.
I love it.
That's insane.
It's great.
That's awesome. So thank you to Carol, and to Mama, and Laura, and Jan, and Jan, and Nancy.
Yes, thank you guys so much. Wow, that's nice. Very sweet birthday surprise there. Yeah, we weren't going to paint today, but I'm glad we did. It's been fun. I like getting to hang out with you guys, and it's I said it in my Thankful Art group, but with everybody having to be social distancing and all that kind of thing, it really it's nice to not feel so isolated, because I know that we have you guys to kind of hang out with when we do our videos and in our Facebook groups and stuff. And so I feel, even though we're not getting to go out and do as much, we're still feeling connected to folks. So I appreciate you guys, and thank you to everybody. I hope you're staying safe. We make joke about it, but it's true. It's a scary time out there, and I hope that our prayers are with all of you and your families and everybody who having to. We've been sharing in my Thankful Art group on Facebook, just different prayer requests and concerns and things, and it's been amazing, all the outpouring of support from the folks that are in there, and also just the stories coming in of different people, and what they're dealing with. So it really breaks my heart, and I just want you to know that you guys are on our hearts for sure, and we feel very blessed to know you all. And I wish I knew everybody by name, but as a whole, we just feel very happy to have this group to connect with through art. It's amazing.
Amen.
Feel very blessed. So, all right, I just added one more layer of extra bright highlights to my tree there.
Really? You just
felt like it.
You kept painting.
Needed it.
I can't believe that.
All right, I'm getting off here. I can see hear Nathan. Can't wait. And Mark's gonna have to make me some cake, so I'm looking forward to
brownies.
That too. Yeah, we're making it easy on him. We're doing brownies.
So we'll see everybody live Tuesday.
Yes.
We're going to be painting something.
What are we painting on Tuesday? I don't know.
I'll look it up. Please hold.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm painting. I should know.
Church.
Oh, yeah. Palette knife. Oh, that'll be fun. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. It'll kind of go along with the white barn that we painted a couple of years ago in that kind of real rustic style. So we're going to use a palette knife and really simplify the shapes and everything and just really scrape the heck out of it. It's going to be awesome.
So if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. Hope you subscribe.
Yes, if you try it, you can share it with me on my social media. I got all the links down below to all the materials that we use, the materials list. So if I went too fast over the colors or whatever, it's all listed down below in the video description with links to social media and all that good stuff. So, and Patreon, if you want the traceable for this, we have a Patreon level for $2 a month. It is unlimited downloads of all my traceables, and gosh, there's probably 300 and something, maybe 400 traceables in there. So we got lots and lots for you to choose from. Lots of different videos. Click on my name or my photo there and check out the other videos on my channel after this if you want to. And yeah, you can create playlists too to watch later.
Yeah.
I don't know if you knew that you could do that.
No, I didn't.
I know a lot of people know that, but you can create your own playlists. So you go through all of my videos and just say, hey, add to playlist. There's a little thing off to the side, usually like 3 little dots. If you click on that, and you can select add to playlist, and you can create your own playlist of all your favorite videos. It'll show you, and then you can just play it all together. Like if you're doing something in the house and you just want something on, just
And for some people to be able to fall asleep.
Well, somebody was saying that they play my videos in the background during the day, and I was like, oh, that's cool, But if you don't do it through a playlist, then it won't play just my videos. It'll play other people's videos too. So if you choose a playlist, I have playlists already pre-made too, so you could just choose one of those. But if you're going to be doing that, I don't know, just a suggestion.
Nice tip.
Yep. All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching with us. Bye.